So, and what triggered you into getting into working out? Was it a sport, or was it something that you really wanted to go straight into bodybuilding, or was it something like myself where I wanted to just get stronger and bigger to play, American football?
No, so I was always into sports, baseball, soccer, and football. But when I was a child, I was molested as a child. So growing up from that, I tended to isolate myself quite often. And training was more of the scapegoat for me to just kind of take my anger out and be alone. And honestly, I'm kind of, not now, but when I was younger, I was more of a sore loser. So being in a team sport and me being one of the better ones, if we lost, and I know it was because someone on the team wasn't that good, I didn't like that. That got on my nerves. So I steered away towards sports and focused more on just training and not even competing. I didn't even have any intention on competing. I just stopped playing sports because training released a lot of my anger. And it was, like I said, it was just an scapegoat for me. And then once I got out of high school, everyone told me I should try and do a show, go into a prep, whatever. So I did my first show when I was 17. I completely bombed it. It was awful. Worst prep of my life.
Nick, I don't want to interrupt you. I'm sorry, but dude, you just kind of dropped a bomb on me because I didn't hear that situation. Was that something that you've shared with other people in the past?
I've shared it on one of my YouTube channels.
Okay.
They're my personal one. I kept that inside for years. I mean, it happened when I was 12, actually. And I didn't come out and tell my mother and father until I was 17 or 16. I was a junior in high school. And the only reason why I even came out was because at the time, this happened in school, by the way. That's the fucked up part.
Like a teacher or something?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the fucked up part. It was my art teacher at the time. So how I even decided to even come out was there was a student that went home and told his mother that this certain teacher was talking very inappropriately to him. And so it got all over the news and whatever else. And my mom at the time knew we were kind of friendly with each other. He was friendly with a lot of the students, and she knew I was one of them. So she would always ask me, has he ever said anything to you? Has he done anything to you? Yada, yada. And I lied, it's embarrassing to admit things like that around that age, So I was like, no. And I absolutely hate lying, period. But I hate lying to my mother, especially. So it was actually one day I was at the gym and I just texted my mom and I said to her, don't tell anyone. And she said, well, don't tell anyone what? I said, just don't tell anyone. We'll talk later. And then at this time I wasn't driving yet. So she was like, I'm going to come pick you up from the gym. I said, no, let me finish my workout, please. And then we'll talk. So she's like, okay, fine. So I texted her when I was done. And and she picks me up. She would not move the car at all. She would not drive home from the gym until I told her what happened. And I couldn't even look at her because I don't think she was expecting me to say what I said. I think she was more so expecting to say things he would say, not the fact that I was actually molested. So I couldn't look at her and say, I literally just looked down and I was like, he molested me. And the car was completely silent. And I eventually just looked up and the face that she had on her face, the expression that she had on her face was something that'll probably haunt me for the rest of my life because you would think someone just killed her child, honestly. So, we got home from that and, obviously my brother, my father, we all had they know now. So, I had to get investigated by the police, everything else. And it was tough. I mean, I know he's in jail. I actually don't know if he's out or not at this point. Cause I know he actually went to jail the day I did Teen Nationals against Cody Montgomery in 2013 or 14. So, and I don't know exactly how long he got, but yeah.
Well, that's pretty deep, man. I mean, yeah, I think it's very admirable of you sharing this story because there's so many people that go through this type of situation.
And the reason why I'm more open about it now is because I did take dark paths at a very young age.
Mm-hmm.
I got and again, they know this now, but they didn't know it at the time. But I got very deep into some hard drugs when I was younger. A lot of fights, a lot of partying. And I there was an incident that happened. I won't really get into that one, but it was a wake-up call where I had to look myself in the mirror and say, if I keep going this way, I'm probably going to end up in jail or dead at some point. Or I had to go a different path and completely change my entire life. And the only thing I knew that kept me really going was training.
It was your
so
therapy.
That was when I started to start competing. And even though my first show, like I said, was a complete disaster, I just loved the whole concept and the method of it all. And I knew my prep went wrong. So I knew once those mistakes were going to get corrected, I would be fine. And, that's basically how it started.